Hello, and welcome to our lesson number 37. Today we are going to look at the appendicular skeleton, that is the bones of the hind limbs. On our previous lesson, that was lesson number 36, we were looking at the bones of the forelimbs, still under the appendicular skeleton. As I said earlier on, in the bones of the appendicular skeleton, that is for the forelimbs, we were having some regions such as the pectoral girdle, but here, remember, we are going to have some regions such as the pelvic girdle and the bones that are attached to them. Here we go. Bones of the hind limbs comprise of a bone which is referred to as the pelvic girdle. The pelvic girdle comprises of various regions, as you can be able to see. It has got the ilium, ischium, pubic symphysis, or we also have the pubic bone, which is also referred to as the pubis, the base of the sacrum, among other areas. Let us start looking at the pelvic girdle. The pelvic girdle consists of two halves. You can see this half over here, and there is also another half in this area. You can see they are appearing in pairs. These bones of the pelvic girdle may also be comprising some parts which are referred to as the ilium, ischium, and the pubis. Let me just find my pointer. There we go. It also contains a certain depression or a cavity which is referred to as the acetabulum. Acetabulum refers to this part here. It's a certain part here where the femur has fused into. It is just a part here which is just an opening. And in that part, there is also another one at this point, into which the head of the femur has just been fitted into. And we also have this other part which is called the obturator foramen. Let's go and see the specific part that are found in it. I've said that acetabulum is a cup-shaped structure which articulates with the head of the femur. This is the femur. Its head has articulated inside here, and that is now a joint that has been formed. That kind of joint is called the ball and socket joint. We have ilium is here. I've shaded it green. That ilium provides a surface area for muscular attachment. We also have another part that is called the pubis symphysis, or you can call it the pubic symphysis. This part that is found at the central region here, that part comprises of a cartilage which can be able to relax in the girdles of women when giving birth, hence enabling the process of the birth to be a bit easier. We also have this part which is called the obturator foramen. Obturator foramen are these two cavities that you can see here. There is one cavity up here, another one is down here. The obturator foramen is the cavity that enables the blood vessel and the muscle, the blood vessels, the nerve endings, and the muscle to pass through. So this part comprises of those three structures which are very important. Bones of the hind limbs now are categorized as follows. We have the femur, the tibia and fibula. We have the tarsals, metatarsals, and finally the phalanges. Here is the diagram of the femur. Let us start looking at it. When you look at the femur, you will realize that it is having a head. This part here, we call it the head, and it is also have the shaft, and it has some part here that we call the condyle. This head is the part that will articulate with the part called acetabulum, which is found in the pelvic girdle. When it fuses in there, there is a joint which will be formed. It is called the ball and socket joint. This one also comprises of this other part here. Let me zoom in. It also comprises of the neck. Remember, wherever there is a head, a neck must also be mentioned somewhere. So we have the head here, and we have the neck, and we have the shaft down there as you get to where we call the condyle. There are some fragments of bones here. They are always 2 in number. There is 1 per foot. And this part here is referred to as the patella. Patella is the part that is acting as the olecranon process of the arm, of the four limbs. Let's continue looking at these and see. We've said that the femur is found between the hip and the knee, and its head fits at the acetabulum, and the lower end of the femur forms some rounded knobs which are referred to as the condyles. The condyles are here. This is a condyle, this is another condyle, and this is a condyle, this is another condyle. But this one has been inverted so that it's facing the other side. We have this bone which is referred to as the tibia and fibula, which forms a shin bone. The shin refers to the lower part of the foot, the lower part of the foot, just the part that is a bit below the knee, and it is comprising of a straight bone referred to as the shin, hence the term the shin bone. We also have tibia, which is larger and longer than fibula. So they are 2 in number, just as we talked about the ulna and radius for the case of the forearm. For the case of the hind limbs, now we are talking about the tibia and fibula. The tibia and fibula, I've already talked about that. We'll talk about something else. The last one is referred to as the tarsals, metatarsals, and phalanges. These are the parts that are found that form the foot, and they are also 3 in number. They are very small fragments of bones which have been joined to form the lower part of the foot, as you can see here. The tarsals have been labeled using the red ink. Then the metatarsals have been labeled using the white ink, but it is ranging from this region over here, as you can see. That is the part close to the ankle. And we have this part here which is called the phalanges. These are the parts that form the fingers. When you look at this, you realize that it's the part that forms the leg on the lowermost part. That's the end of my lesson for today. As I've talked about that, I've talked about the bones that form the hind limbs. That was the end of lesson number 37. And thank you for watching the lesson. I hope that you've learned something, and I believe that you will still get into the next lesson together with me, whereby I'm going to talk about the types of joints. Thank you for watching the video. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.